I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend. These days.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
If my day keeps going this way, I just might.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here.
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 223 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How's everyone doing this fine Sunday evening? I know, yes, I know. I was supposed to do a stream on Friday because, well, originally I was going to do it on Thursday, but unfortunately, my laptop, computer, laptop, whatever you want to call it, wasn't exactly, well, it was working, but it was doing like a lot of update delays type of thing, to the point where it was going to take forever and I couldn't exactly do the show. And then Friday came along, because of course I postponed it for Friday instead. Friday came along, and of course nothing. Oh no, sorry, it was actually the Friday that was that issue. Right. The point is, I was supposed to do the show on Thursday, couldn't. I was supposed to do the show on Friday, but again, couldn't. And yeah, there was a bit of a kind of, it was up in the air, like what was happening really. So, but yeah, we're here now. I'm going to do the show tonight for about an hour, and I was going to save this towards the end of the show tonight, but I might as well just say it now. I'm going to do another episode tomorrow night. So episode 224 will be live tomorrow night from 6 p.m. as well. And any topics I was going to cover for this episode, I'll just cover all of that for tomorrow, because I think that would be a lot better. And what we're going to be doing instead, in the meantime, if you guys don't mind, is we're going to do maybe like a whole Q&A section type of episode for tonight's episode. Again, it's only going to be for an hour, and then we'll see with that. So, and the reason why it would be an hour, because I was going to do 2 hours, but I realized Sunday being another day where there's a lot of streams going on, especially Ragnar Ironspear will be streaming tonight at 7 p.m., if I remember correctly. But yes, so that's pretty much why tonight's episode is going to be for an hour. But I'll make it up to you guys by doing another episode tomorrow evening. So that would be episode 224 of the Mood of the Nation podcast tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'll post I'll post about it later on tonight, and then of course see from there. So again, I apologize that there wasn't an episode on Thursday or Friday, or even say yesterday for that matter. It was just because, look, tech issues aside, I was just really tired and quite busy when it comes to that. So I just decided that I wasn't exactly capable of actually doing the show because of how tired I was. But no worries, mate. Shit happens. No worries, Black Pigeon Pilled. And I'll be honest with everyone, right? I've been thinking about this for quite a long while now regarding to Mood of the Nation as a show when it comes to it, because I've done about what? I've almost done 225 episodes of the show, which I still can't believe it's been going on for that long. There was a point, and I'll be upfront and honest with everyone and be transparent, but there was a point where I was thinking about maybe just ending the show entirely. The fact that there's been not much episodes coming out, the fact that I don't really have much motivation to do the stream anymore, and the reason for that is mainly because that I do believe there's a lot of people in the nationalist movement, whether it be here in Britain or in America or Germany, Austria, France, or whatever the case may be. A lot of the big names, as as I know and you guys know as well. Even there's a big name here in the chat. Joe Marsh is in here with us. I just think there's a lot of people in the movement who do similar things what I'm doing just now, but I think do it a lot better than what I can do, type of thing. Because Mark does PWR, Warren and Emily do modern politics. I'm sure Mike Penovich still does TRS, or maybe he does another show. I think even Warren Baylor does a show with Eric Stryker, War Strike, I think it was called, and so on and so forth. And I'm just thinking, well, there's all these shows going on, again, doing like nationalist content, having nationalist talking points and all of that. And I do believe a lot of those people have a lot of good points given to those streams. I mean, there's other streams like UNN or Unity News Network as well. And I'm just kind of thinking, well, I mean, what can I provide, type of thing. I mean, I've done like 223 episodes, but I still can't believe that. And yeah, there actually was a point where I was thinking about maybe kind of calling it quits. But I kind of figured, well, it's been that long since the show has went on, and I'm almost at 250 episodes. I might as well just continue on with it. So, so I'm just kind of thinking, like brainstorming on what exactly to do. There is another thing as well to point out why there's been a lack of episodes. It's just because there's just another thing in my mind that I'm just thinking about a lot more than Mood of the Nation. And I've expressed this before on the show where I had an idea. Well, I still have an idea for a comic book. I've expressed this towards Donald Kent, who I've noticed has come back to do regular streams on his channel. The only problem is because he lives in America, his streams don't go live over here until maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm just like, damn it. So of course I'm gonna miss it. I'm sure a lot of people here in Britain will miss them as well, but his streams are normally up afterwards, so definitely check him out when you can with regard to that. So but as I was saying, with Donald Kent, I have expressed to him that I have an idea. Well, I've expressed this on the show as well. I have a comic book idea, a very nationalist themed comic book that I really want to do. I'm still kind of in the writing process in terms of like coming up with themes and ideas and concepts and all of that. And I'm kind of in a bit of a tight spot at the moment regarding to this idea. So originally I wanted to, I think I might have said this on the show already, but originally I wanted to make the whole series, the world that the series is set in, or the whole universe, to be entirely fictitious. Saying that, however, it is inspired by actual real locations and people and all of that, but it is entirely fictitious and all of that. So, for example, there's a city within the first location where the series will take place in is called Romford City. Copyright, by the way, by me. The whole idea of Romford or Romford City is basically Edinburgh, essentially. Although it's a lot more, if I were to design the actual architecture of the city itself, it would be more like Gothic inspired. It's kind of like inspired by an old German film of the 1930s called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I think it's pronounced, I think that's how it's pronounced, but it's this old German expressionist film from the 1920s or 30s. And the visual aesthetic of that is, again, very, of course it's very exaggerated, but, Gothic architecture type of thing. And I was kind of wanting to do that type of idea, but I'm just kind of like, well, when I was writing more and more stuff about it in my notebooks and all of that, I've kind of realized something. Well, would it make a lot more sense if it were to be set in the real world, but there's all of these like paranormal, supernatural beings that do exist, like an urban fantasy type of thing? Or should I maybe keep it completely fictitious? So I'm going to see if I can maybe ask a few more people around in terms of what would make a lot more sense. Because the thing is, when it comes to fiction writing, I tend to like fiction that's set in its own world or its own universe, kind of like stuff like, you know, Tolkien's work, or like, you know, the Lord of the Rings, or even Star Wars for that matter. I kind of don't like stuff like Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter to me is like the prime example of that, where it's set in the real world, but magic exists, or like wizards and witches and all of that exists, but they're kind of like a secret society type of idea. And it's like, right, so you're telling me this has all been going on for a long time, and yet the normal general public doesn't know anything about this. You know, is that type of thing that I didn't quite like. Whereas if it's something like, another example, I'm thinking like a pure fictitious work like Tolkien's work, the Middle Earth universe type of thing, where it's entirely fictitious. Clearly, it's inspired by some things, by places and all that. It's loosely inspired by it, but it is entirely its own fictitious, you know, thing, that type of idea. So I'm kind of in a bit of a tough spot with that at the moment, and I'm going to see it, as I said, talk to more people about it and give, or maybe have some of like their takes on that idea. But we'll see when it comes to it. Let's see what's said. If I want to see who's actually in the chat, and I see Joe Marsh is there, Black Pigeon Pill, Aunt Sally is with us. How you doing? Budgie Burger, Tight Scotsman, Chaz I think Chaz Smash might be here, but then again, that's an old message. But thank you guys for watching the show. Black Pigeon Pill writes, don't give up, just change the concept and do it less less regular. Like, do it until episode 300 at least, mate. Fair enough. Joe Marsh, keep going, because all content is good and spreads the word. You've got a lot better at it as you go along. Fair enough. Thank you very much. Yeah, don't do shows too often. Joe also writes, we are going to stream as soon as this hit piece is shown. Oh, yes, and also Joe also writes it in the chat as well. BBC hit piece on BBC Wales Tuesday. Oh, it's Tuesday. I thought it was tomorrow that was live. Well, there you go. Black Pigeon Pill, you've got to include a reference to Irwin, Scottish classic fantasy realm. I'll get to that, yes. But thank you very much, Black Pigeon Pill. But yes, Joe Marsh said, well, there is might be kind of jumping on ahead a bit, but yes, there is a hit piece coming out by the BBC Wales. I thought it was going to be on tomorrow night, but it seems to be it's going to be Tuesday night. So there's a documentary of us coming out this coming week, or Tuesday night, as Joe said in the chat. And Mark was interviewed by a journalist from the BBC last week. I think he was interviewed, or sometime the start of this week. I think it was. But he went down to the BBC offices to do the hour-long interview. You've all heard the stream. Public Address News has uploaded the full interview on his channel. I've uploaded it on my channel, just in case if it gets taken down on YouTube or anything like that. Although you can still watch the content on Odyssey, and also follow Mark on his Telegram channel as well. But yes, there's going to be a hit piece type of a documentary coming out this week, which I thought it was going to be coming out on Monday, but here it's coming out on Tuesday. So it's going to be really interesting, considering the undercover journalist had been with us for about, what was it, a year or something like that, or however long it was. But we'll see how it goes, and let's see what type of accusations they throw towards PA this time around. Because from what was mentioned in that interview, were just completely ridiculous. And the fact that the journalists keep asking Mark the same question over and over and over again. Yeah, so what can you do? There's no chance in the show. How you doing? Is it even a Chief Moody stream if he isn't apologizing for not doing the show? Well, I mean, I did give an apology earlier on, but there we go. So, but thanks, no chance. No, thank you. Um, Joe Marsh, I got doorstep by them the other day. Get popcorn. That is true. Yeah, that I believe it was the same journalist that interviewed Mark. Was also please correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, if I got this wrong, but apparently it was the same journalist that interviewed Mark that doorstep Joe Marsh, doing like a surprise type of interview, I guess you want to call it. But yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I don't know if that's going to be appearing on the documentary as well, but we'll see. We really will see too. Black Pigeon Pill, Golden One has been subject of a hit piece too. Undercover journals really are total scum. Yeah, I have heard about that. In fact, I think I watched PWR about that as well, and it really does seem to me that these journals are really now coming out of the woodwork, trying their damnedest to try and take us down in any way, shape, or form. Which, that really, it's really interesting with these times. Really interesting to say the least. So. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna watch the documentary because again, I have a TV, but I normally just watch stuff on YouTube. I never watch mainstream television whatsoever. So, and I know that the documentary in question will be up probably afterwards on BBC iPlayer, but even then, I'll probably catch it when it's maybe on Odyssey, or maybe when it's someone else is streaming it live. But we'll see with that. Ragnar Iron Spear, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching. I've also shouted out your show, which starts at 7 p.m. So once 7 p.m. rolls around, folks, definitely check out Ragnar Iron Spear's stream, and same and check it out there. Black Pigeon Pill, Shuckman's got a book out this year. I reckon my mates and I might get doxxed. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Joe Marsh, yeah, same guy with a load of heavies. They jumped me while out working. And then Sally in the chat writes, I don't have a TV license, nor is my TV rigged up to receive terrestrial channels. The only way I can see it is if I watch it at someone else's place, similar to me then, or even if I catch it if someone's streaming it as like a sort of like a reaction type of commentary type of thing. But yeah, it's on BBC iPlayer after midnight, which again, I don't want to support the BBC any way, shape, or form because the BBC are just complete scum, aren't they? So yeah, I don't want to support them any way, shape, or form. So, but yeah, that's going to be really interesting when that documentary comes out. So, and with that interview, the Mark Call interview with the BBC, I'm sure the BBC must have been completely furious after seeing that. But hey-ho. So, well, now it's just a case of waiting until that actual documentary gets released. So that'll be really interesting. Budgie Burger writes, I would recommend not watching it. It's just globalist communist vomit. Fair enough. And Sally again in the chat, you have to register to watch a BBC iPlayer though, don't you? Yeah, I would imagine. So I want now to do with them. Yep, same with me. Yeah, I would. That's the thing. I would imagine you would have to kind of register with the BBC iPlayer, maybe like an email type of registration. So I'm not gonna bother with that. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. And also, I want to give a what was it like a. So I watched. Well, I follow Toffee, and everyone knows who Toffee is. Toffee is a Liverpudlian nationalist. You know, he's a good guy. I've spoken to him a couple of times here and there. So I watched a video of his on this channel recently with really sad news about John Davidson. But John Davidson has sadly passed away recently, and that it was really terrible news because I remember the last episode I did Mood of the Nation. Someone mentioned John Davidson in the chat about that, and I was hoping that it was going to be a temporary thing. Hopefully, John Davidson will be up again. He'll be no problem whatsoever. But in that same Toffee video that he mentions, that he does mention that John seemed to be really unwell for a long time, and yeah, it's really sad that it's really sad news that happened. And yeah, of course, my heart goes out to the friends and family of John Davidson, and yeah, it's another nationalist we've lost in the movement. So, but rest in peace, John Davidson, with that. So, yeah, sad news, but yeah, I think I'm sure he'll be in a better place now. So, yeah, rest in peace, John Davidson. I thank you for your work and of course the content you provided throughout the years with that. So. I remember, and it's a shame too, because I was hoping to maybe kind of talk to him again at some point, because the last time I spoke to him, I mean, I would watch some of his streams, a bit here and there and write stuff down in his chat. But I remember the first time him and I actually did a stream together, it was on his channel, on his stream. It was kind of like one of those, kind of like what I do with when I have a guest on. I would just, it's kind of like getting to know the person a bit more, like what got you into nationalism and all of that. Now, that stream, I believe that was back in, what was it, 2021 or 22, if I remember correctly. Actually, I want to double check that, because I think, because I was definitely thinking about that. And I was wondering, like, when was the last time I've actually was on his stream? So, John David, sorry, 1 second, folks. Chief Moody, just type of that there. And DJ made a video about John Davidson there. What I'm trying to think, what was John's? Was it? Well, that's the channel that I'm on. So, well, that he's on, I should say. But I'm trying to think, like, what was the stream? I don't know if it's maybe still up there, but we did a stream together again. It was kind of like a blather type of stream we did to kind of get to know each other a little bit more, and maybe that was back in like maybe 2020 or 2021, I think. But yeah, it definitely felt like a long while ago. Of course, for internet time, that's a long time ago. But yeah, so choosing the blather, all of that is, yeah, it was a year ago, but I don't think it was a year ago. I don't think. There's another way, and I know this is gonna really annoy me, but hold on a minute. Let me see if I can actually see it from here. Search John Davidson. Let's see here. We blather with John Davidson, his channel Thursday. Had I heard of that? No, that's not the one, but that was back in 2021. Videos unavailable. Yeah, that might explain it, right? So we did a stream, but maybe it was on private or something like that. I'm not too sure. But the Blathering Pensioner, yeah, that was the other name he had for his channel. No chance. John passed away when I knew his health declined. I haven't saw that he passed away. What a horrible loss. Yeah, I saw Toffee's video about it yesterday or the day before. If I had just seen their DJ Resisting the Lies, for those who don't know, he just posted a video about John Davidson, rest in peace, John Davidson, of course, on his channel. So I don't know when exactly John passed away, but it seemed to me like a fairly recent thing that happened. And again, it is a very terrible loss, and yeah, it's a shame. It really is an absolute shame. So, how old was John Davidson? Was he at least a good age? I know he was old, but I don't know if it was maybe in his. I don't know how old exactly, but maybe he was. Someone in the chat might know, but from what I can gather, maybe he was in his like late 60s, maybe in his 70s. I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, he seemed, well, at the time, like old, but I'm not entirely too sure how old exactly he was, but it's still a shame nonetheless with that. Still a shame. So hold on a sec. He had a good knock at 80s easy, right? So he was in his 80s. So yeah, that's still pretty old, yeah. So, but yeah. We'll move on from there, and yeah, it was a really sad loss, and I was quite surprised at that announcement as well by Toffee. So, but yeah, R.I.P. John Davidson. R.I.P. John Davidson. There was a banner I was going to put up on my screen just now. Here we go. So, as I said, for those that came into the stream later on, I did say that the whole stream tonight is going to be for an hour long. So we'll do the stream up until 7 or just before 7 p.m. And I'll do another stream tomorrow night, same time as 6 p.m. and up until maybe 7:30, maybe 8 p.m. And any topic that I was going to cover tonight, I'll cover that tomorrow's stream. So, because again, I wasn't going to actually do the stream tonight, and I thought I'll just do it tomorrow. But I thought, no, I was meant to do a stream Thursday or Friday, but I couldn't get around to it. So I thought I'll just do the stream tonight instead, and then I'll do another stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. So episode 224, and then see what that one is in this case. What's your favorite part of Scotland and why? That's actually a pretty good question. Favorite part of Scotland and why? I would say probably, if I had to pick a place, it would probably well, when you say part, do you mean like just like a town or a city or a specific area, that type of thing? Because because I was going to say my favorite part would have to be Stirling, which is often called the heart of Scotland, which is part of the Central Belt. And the reason for that is because even though I was a bit odd with Stirling, because Stirling is a city, but although it's not like it's not like say Edinburgh or Glasgow, those places, or even Dundee for that matter, those places are cities. But Stirling is kind of like Falkirk in a sense that it's not a city, but it's more like a town type of thing. But even saying that with Stirling, that it's called the city of Stirling, but I don't know if it's to do with like maybe some kind of like do with the monarchy, or like maybe I don't think it actually had anything to do with that. At least from what I think. Have you ever seen Nessie? No, I haven't. Although that would be terrifying. It would be absolutely terrifying. It has a cathedral. That's a good point, because I actually asked someone about that before. How do you determine a place as a city? And usually the reason a place is a city because it has a cathedral. So that's actually a very good point. Let me just type in, does Stirling have a cathedral? Sorry, just one second. Cathedral. Now, this would be interesting. So the Church of Stirling, which church in Stirling North Ward. List of cathedrals in Scotland. Let me just double check that real quick. So Inverness, Aberdeen, Oban, Dundee, Perth, Edinburgh, Cathedral of the Isles, Glasgow. Doesn't seem to have. Let me see. No, it doesn't seem to have any cathedral. So, Church of Scotland the Church of Scotland is no longer governed by bishops, and so officially has no cathedrals. However, buildings that were cathedrals prior to the Reformation or in periods of the church history, when it did had an common cathedrals open to right. So Stirling technically does have a cathedral. It's called the Dunblane Cathedral, and it was built or established in the 7th century, which that's actually pretty crazy. That, but again, part of this, it's not technically a cathedral at this point in time because of the whole, as it says here, the Reformation kind of a thing. But so yeah, maybe that's why it's called a city now, because it technically has a cathedral. But yeah, it's a bit. There's a lot of info when it comes to that, but that's kind of like the basic short of it type of thing. Tricky Woo, how you doing? Oldest daughter got to visit Scotland last year, and she did a slideshow of the beautiful castles and landscapes. Yeah, that's a good thing about Scotland. I'm sure England and Wales are very similar as well, but we do have a lot of beautiful landscapes and a lot of beautiful castles as well for people to visit. And yeah, £9 for a hot dog. It does. Yeah, it's ridiculous for the amount of cost when it comes to that stuff like that. Have you ever visited Aleister Crowley's former residence in Boleskine House? It was owned by Jimmy Page once and apparently looks out to Loch Ness. I have not. I think actually I remember hearing something about that with Count Dankula, because I remember Dankula did a video about Aleister Crowley for his Mad Lads series. But no, I did not. I have not visited that. Although it'd be a place to definitely go and visit. I definitely would like to visit, of course, the Loch Ness itself. But even though I don't believe the Loch Ness monster is real, but I don't know, that it's just that idea of like a Loch Ness monster in the loch itself. That's kind of creeps me out. But I don't know. Well, not to say that it's actually there, because of course it's been proven not to be the case, but yeah, it's a scary thought, to say the least. I went to Hogmanay in 2019. It was full of foreigners. Yeah, I would imagine that, definitely. So let's see. Oh yeah, kind of going back to my question with Stirling. So with Stirling, it's kind of like a city, kind of, but it still has that rural landscape. Of course, you kind of see that when you look out for the Wallace Monument and such. And it still has, it's kind of similar to Edinburgh in the sense that it still has its classic old school architecture there, and it kind of maintains some of the history that is presented there, of course. So that's partly why I like Stirling a lot. Let me see. The Borders is always nice. Berwick upon Tweed. Plus, there was a place called Blackadder 2. I did not know that. That's actually interesting. Did not know that. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. That's why I got YouTube up on here at the moment. Let me just quickly get something here and see if I can post it in the chat as well. It's something that I forgot to do. And in the meantime, actually, before I do anything, PA does have a YouTube account called PA TV UK. It's got 13 subscribers already. Of course, there's 17 videos. I might as well just post it in the chat here as well. So if you haven't done so already, please give the PA TV channel a follow or a subscription. I'll post it here. So that way you can click on the link and then subscribe to that YouTube channel. Again, I think at the moment they're posting some of the more earlier videos, but they're trying to post as much content as much as possible for the time being. So if you want to check it out, their channel, and give them a follow, there's the link there if you want to subscribe to their YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find my channel and see if I can post, let's see, a couple of links. Something I keep on forgetting to do as per usual. Let me see here a moment. I'll just pause that so that you don't hear me again on the stream. Although I'm saying that, I don't think I'm actually sharing the stream, so that actually shouldn't be a bother in that case. But let me just see if I can get this up here just now. So open PayPal, buy me a coffee. Again, I'm just going to post the links here. Just one sec. But of course, the two usual donation pages, if you want to send a shekel or two, you can do so with these pages here. Let me see. Right, let's see, donate here. So that would be, yeah, so that copy to paste it. Yeah, that's it. Right, close that. Or... and then open, buy me a coffee. Yeah, close that, and then copy that. Here, right. Post that in the chat. And of course, pin that as a pinned comment as well, or message. So there we go. So what I just put up there, guys, is the the links for my donation pages, which will be up there, pinned comment or pinned message, either PayPal or buy me a coffee. So if you want to send in a donation or two, you can do so if you want to, and entirely optional. But if you do send in a donation via PayPal or buy me a coffee, I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. Now, we'll be back on here with the show, of course, continuing on with the Q&A section. And I see there's a couple of people that have followed that new PA YouTube channel, which is awesome. Thank you guys very much. Let me see. In fact, that's another thing too. They're back on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, back on X, aren't they? Wait a minute. Let me just, I know they are, but I just want to double check and see if they're actually still there. Wait a minute. Because again, if people haven't followed that, then I'll also post that in the chat as well. So let me see if I can find them real quick. Actually, I can easily find that here. I wonder. Right, there's the and then copy and paste that into the chat. Right. Again, if you haven't followed PA on X, then there's their link to their X account just now. And again, give them a follow if you can. That would be fantastic. That's quite a lot. 904 followers already, which is really good to see. So excellent stuff. Defending the rights of our people, community, charity, and advocacy. Fantastic stuff. Right. Okay. Tommy uses buy me a gram. It's me, Tommy Robinson. Yeah. Yeah, that's I wouldn't be surprised at that, to be fair. So anyway, anything else to come through in terms of questions? Anything at all? I'll be happy to answer them. We've still got 20 minutes to go until the show ends tonight anyway, so any questions that come through, I'll be happy to answer them. So let me see, just want to also check something as well in terms of music. For like the outro type of thing, I think I'm just going to use the same song as an outro from the last episode I did, and then we'll see from there. Again, I'm not ending the show just yet, but I'm just going to pull it up in the moment. Let me see. Right, it's definitely that one from what I remember. Yeah. Because the last time I tried to look for this song, I couldn't exactly find it. I was like, what was the name of that song? But of course, I did have it in my music collection, and it's there. I'm just going to pull up it here just now. And then I'll pause that and have it set in the background until it gets just before 7 p.m. and then see from there. So also slightly later on, I'll post a link for Ragnar's stream just before the show ends tonight. Again, so that way you guys can check out Ragnar Iron Spears' stream after this show comes to an end. So yeah, so Martin W. Free Speech Enjoyer, how you doing? Thank you very much. Question, do you think the Southport trial will be covered up? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to... I mean, look, we've seen in the past with the grooming gang scandal and some of the more recent attacks that have happened in places like London and such that have been somewhat covered up. So if they've covered up those incidences, what makes you think they're not going to cover up what happened in Southport? I wouldn't be surprised at this point if that's what they're planning on doing if it were to cover up. I mean, maybe there's a chance they won't cover up because the whole thing with the whole Southport incident was just a horrific thing, and a lot of people were angry about it. So I wouldn't know when it comes to that. Be careful talking about Southport, as they've issued a warning about contempt of court. That's fair enough. So, yeah. So I'll just say that for the record with that. So yeah, no worries. Black Pigeon Pill, what's your favorite supernatural entity? I know Woes likes his witches. Well, that's such a good question. Supernatural entity. Crap, I don't know. I was gonna say vampires because I've always grown up watching stuff like vampire related, but when you actually sit down and think about it, would you really want to be a vampire? Sure, you can't exactly die or anything like that. Of course, you have to drink a lot of blood, and of course, you can stay up at like late at night and maybe sleep in the morning. I don't know, but it would be somewhat of a very tragic lifestyle to live as a vampire. But um, I don't know, maybe like a again, maybe like a werewolf, but again, that's a bit of a tragic thing as well. So, paranormal entity, that's a really tough question. Man. I don't know, because some of them do have, or supernatural entity, I should say. Some of them do have their pros, but of course, some of them still have their cons. So, uh, probably, yeah, fuck it. I'll just say vampire. I'll say vampire is probably my favorite supernatural entity if I had to pick one. So, let me see. Ragnar Iron Speed off to get set up. Catch you later. Good folk. Thank you very much, Ragnar. And as I said, I'll post a link for your stream later on, and that way so people can check it out after the show comes to an end. But thank you very much for showing up in the chat. Black Pigeon Pill, I think the whole grooming scandal has reached critical mass at this point, especially now Musk has weighed into it. Much of the charging of Ian Hislop types, yeah, I agree with that. James Hayworth, did you hear anything in the BBC interview that you think will get clipped? I think it was a flawless job by Mark. I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely was a great interview that Mark had with the BBC. Mark just completely just completely annihilated them all throughout. I mean, you can even hear in the interview that every time Mark has an answer to give, the interviewer was just completely just what kind of noises he would do. He would just, it was kind of like a very beta-esque type of responses type of thing when it comes to that. With that in this case, so I think when Mark made him his bitch, yeah, basically. But what was I gonna say when it comes to that? Oh yeah, sorry. So I wouldn't be surprised if that interview does appear in the documentary, but because it's the BBC, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they might take some parts of that interview and maybe kind of change it, kind of warp it around and to make it sound like something that it wasn't. Because look, people can go back and listen to Mark's interview that Mark has uploaded onto his Odyssey. I've uploaded to my YouTube channel. Again, you can watch that same stream or interview on Public Address News as well. So yeah, when it comes to that. How did BBC get PA members' details? I don't think they did, from what I can recall with that. Because I think if the BBC did manage to get something like that, I'm sure they would have plastered that all over, the BBC or whatnot. So I don't see how they managed to get any of the members or anything like that at all. But that's what I think anyway. Why are PA talking to a vile organization like the BBC? Yeah, because I've noticed that recently where, you never should talk to any of the people from the media type of thing with that. And that part, I can understand where a lot of people are coming from, definitely. In my opinion, when it comes to that, I think there's some points where if the BBC or any mainstream news outlet or anything like that, in this case, tries to make like a smear piece to try and tries to portray you as something that you're not, type of thing. There is, of course, that chance you want to actually, at the very least, counter that and make a point about like no, that's not the case. Here's why. Try and defend yourself, type of thing, because the media will try everything they can to make you out to be something that you're not, basically. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Like the BBC are just completely scumbags. Like the person in question who infiltrated from us for the past year. He was making, again, Mark expressed this on UNN about this, but the journalists who infiltrated us for the past year, he was making out like, oh, he was going through hard times. He was sleeping on his friend's couch. He was jobless. He was, to him, well, he was claiming that he was going through a bit of a bad patch, and we at PA tried everything we can to help him out. We even managed to help him out to get a job at a working site. So, but the fact that he actually went on to do this is just, completely scumbag behavior. And it really actually goes to show in that case, who exactly are the what, I don't want to say problematic, because that's kind of like a woke term in that case, but you can't see the case who exactly in society are the good people and who in society are the bad people. And I do believe that we are definitely the good people, and those people who claim to be the good people, but they're anything but good, especially when they're pulling stunts like that. Filthy infiltration, it really boils my piss. Black Pill Pigeon, have you ever spoken to such types before, Moody? If so, what would your advice be? I've not spoken to anyone who is a journalist or anything like that at all in the past. I mean, and if I were, the only type of advice I would say, if you do get in a conversation with them, is look, don't spurg out. Again, I understand the idea of like, they're complete scumbags. They will try and portray you in any way, shape, or form, and all this and that. The only thing I would say is, look, just be rational, be calm, and all of that, and just tell people, look, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is what I think how the country should be running, type of thing. We should focus on our own people rather than focusing more on these foreigners that, again, we don't know who they are, we don't know where they came from, and again, just completely just taking advantage of us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have a right to reply when it comes to that, in terms of like what was mentioned before. Thank you, Aunt Sally. Yeah. So yeah, I would that's the kind of piece of advice I would give to people. And if you do get a situation, what happened to Joe Marsh, where he got doorstepped by them, again, just don't spurg out. Just keep your calm and all of that. Try to be cool and rational, and just be honest about like what you think and what you believe in, because those journalists, they can't stand it. They can't stand the fact that there's like people, the audacity of people in this country that actually cares about the future of their nation, rather than just be, I don't know, complete globalists or whatnot. But anyway, let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's called the right to sorry, I want to say it's a right to reply. Hold on a minute. It's called the right to reply. If you decline, then it could appear that you have nothing to say because you've been caught out. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, it's a good point. You do have a right to reply. Budgie Burger, I've never been a member, but I got a red squirrel badge from them. I love it. Fair enough. Joe Marsh, it's me that got infiltrated. I vetted him, and it's me they targeted. Yeah, that's why Mark got. No, sorry. Again, that's why Joe got doorstepped by the journalists and so on and so forth. Black Pigeon Pill, Mark did a good job, made him look like an absolute spy. Oh dear. James Hayward, he was probably hoping wrong, of course, that he would be used for nefarious, mega super far right stuff. Probably. Anyways, so time is that? 6:52. Give a couple more minutes and then we'll see from there with that. So yeah, I was going to mention, what was mentioned. So it was mentioned someone received letters. How did BBC obtain this information? And now Sally replies, MB, not hard for the BBC to find names / addresses via their own database. Or I think even Mark even mentioned, again, there's a possibility like private investigator type of thing, but yeah, so, but yeah, it's not exactly a hard thing to find people's names and addresses and all that, when it comes to that. it's mainly public information. But what is wrong about it is the what you do with that information, and of course the intent behind it, that sort of thing. Let me see. Martin W. writes, I would like to ask the BBC why so many pedophiles in their org. That's such a good point. Yeah, with that. Yeah, I love how just a little thing with that. I love how the BBC, when it comes to nationalism, I love how they try to portray themselves as they're the big, the upstanding, moral citizens and all that. Like, oh, what PA and all these nationals are just horrible, evil people, and I can't believe they would believe stuff like this. When the BBC have a reputation for either covering or even helping out, pedophiles, Jimmy Savile being a prime example of one. And I'm trying to think of other people as well, but yeah, the BBC does have a long, strange history with pedophilia within their ranks. In fact, again, another famous point to make about that. Again, I think that statue that's next to I think BBC London headquarters, if I'm not mistaken, of a very strange statue I believe that was sculpted by an actual pedophile. So, yeah. And really weird stuff. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Hugh Edwards, yes, that's I believe that was the name of the sculptor. Might be wrong, but yeah, I think it was Hugh Edwards. Black Pigeon Pilled. I guess much like the Vatican, the BBC is a priesthood at the end of the day, ensuring the message gets maintained. Eric Gill. Oh, sorry, maybe Hugh. Check up on my phone. Hugh Edwards. Oh, he was the BBC presenter. That's right. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Hugh Edwards. That's a case I couldn't believe he gets off scot-free. That definitely should tell you something. Yeah, Hugh Edwards, BBC presenter. That's right. And Eric Gill. Right, one sec. Gill. Ah, right. That was the name of the sculptor. Yes, thank you. Who was a Black Pigeon Pill? Yeah, Eric Gill. That's I believe the gentleman there. That's the one who made the sculpture in question. Yeah, Edwards was the Anchorman nonce. Yeah, that's it. Edwards was the Anchorman nonce. Yeah, that's the one. The Welsh news presenter. Yeah, indeed. Just checking through my phone real quick. James Hayward, 500,000 have stopped the license fee in the last year. They're shitting bricks. Yeah, I would imagine that regarding to the BBC, because look, people can just see through the bullshit by the BBC. Yeah, so with regards to that. 6456. Hold on one sec. Somebody from the BBC got done for interfering with dogs recently. I think I remember hearing something about that, which again, if it's the BBC, I mean, there's a lot of really sick and corrupt things about the BBC, and I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case as well. So, yeah, I mean, what can you really do? So, but yeah, right, let me just see if I can get the link for Ragnar Iron Spirits' stream. So that way, once the show comes to an end, you all can jump on to that stream and give that stream a watch. Let me see if I can just quickly find it. Is it that one? Rags and Jack's Colin. Yeah, that's the one. I think that's for tonight. Yeah, starting in 3 minutes. Right, 1 second. Copy and paste that. Is that the one? Yep, that's the one. Perfect. So there's the link for Rags and Jack's stream, which starts at 7, which would be 3 minutes to go. So if you want to give that a watch, the link is in the chat just now. So definitely give them a watch after tonight's stream. And I think I'm going to call an end for tonight's episode. Like I said, tonight's episode, and then I'll do another stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. And that's for tomorrow's stream. I'll cover the topics I was going to cover tonight and then see from there. So, yeah. Thank you very much for coming along tonight and watching. Again, only for an hour, but I'll be back tomorrow night with episode 224. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Check out Rags and Jack's stream. And I think I would also be watching the stream as well, but I'm just going to see if I can sort out a couple of things as well and then give that stream a watch. And yeah, I hope to see you all again tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time as well, which will be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if I remember correctly. But yeah, again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, enjoy the week when it comes. And yeah, see you all again tomorrow at 6 p.m. and have a good night. Thank you all and good night. Take care.